At the 2026 New York Auto Show, automakers showed off EVs, body-on-frame trucks, high-end exotics, and in the case of Chrysler, a minivan. Dodge and Chrysler brand CEO Matt McAlear was there to unveil the latest refreshed version of the only product Chrysler sells. This is a polished minivan, really.
This sets the standard for luxury in the minivan segment.
This is luxury in the minivan segment.
Luxury in the
That's
minivan
what you're going
segment.
for. To many fans and industry watchers, that this is what the great American Chrysler name has been reduced to is a sign that the brand is on its last legs.
The moment you start whittling down your lineup, the assumption is the brand is dead. And the weird thing is, for them, it's like, okay, it's a legacy brand, but there's a ton of equity. And it's like, how can we revive it?
McAlear said Chrysler parent Stellantis is planning to share plans for the future of the brand at the company's Investor Day on May 21st. But he also said the minivan segment is a better place to be than one might think. In fact, its popularity is ticking upward.
We invented the segment, and we believe in the segment. The segment was growing year over year from 25 to 24, and we're forecasted to see it up against this year, and we're actually seeing a resurgence.
Resurgence might be a bit of a strong word to use, said Edmunds analyst Ivan Drury, but there is a better market for these vehicles than the polarizing reactions they get might indicate.
The minivan coming back to some degree, not having like a full-on resurgence, but making sense for like a cost-conscious or like super practical customer, there's almost no other way to go.
If you take US sales over the last decade, minivans hit a low of 1.7% market share in 2017. But since then, they have ticked up slightly to 2.4% in 2025. That is still a tiny share of the overall new car market, but it's only about a half a percentage point below large SUVs, which in terms of the number of seats in the vehicle would be the minivan's closest competitors. Minivans have a few things going for them, Drury said. They don't sit on dealer lots nearly as long as many other vehicles. It takes your typical Stellantis dealer about as many days to sell a Pacifica as it does to sell a Jeep Wrangler. A Toyota Sienna has a turnaround time of 12 days, which is really low even for Toyota.
Sienna's unreal. It's crazy how difficult it can be to get the right one.
Minivans also have low leasing rates compared with other vehicles.
You don't get a minivan on a fringe idea, right? It's like, this is a necessity-based purchase. Therefore, I will keep it for a long time.
That means resale values are a bit higher because the used market isn't getting flooded with as many off-lease cars every year. So here's what's driving this appeal.
It's a high value proposition vehicle, right? I mean, it's like vehicles of this nature, the offering for what you get, dollar for dollar, and functionality per dollar, you're not going to beat it.
A minivan might not have all the advantages of a full-size truck or a three-row SUV. Not the ground clearance, no bed in the back, not exactly off-road ready. But a lot of buyers don't need all that. There's a ton of storage space in the vehicle, and it's covered by a roof, which can come in handy. Chrysler aims to accentuate this by making both the second and third row seats totally stowable on the floor. A minivan is also easier to get in and out of. It's lower to the ground than most large SUVs, and it also has that famous sliding door.
As if somebody tells me they have more than 2 kids, I'm like, you know what you're buying. You know what you really need to buy is a minivan, not that huge Escalade or whatever. Yes, while it might be fun, it might be gorgeous, it's going to be 3x the price and only half as functional. So do you really want to go there?
On the auto show floor, Chrysler also showed off the Grizzly Peak concept van with knobby tires and a roof rack. While it's just a concept, McAlear hinted that the features might make their way into production models.
There's a lot of value that we're offering to our consumers and giving them something that they can't necessarily find from others.